Reading list for CAT, websites and blogs and articles that you can pick up and read. Even before we begin, the description, we're going to discuss a bunch of websites and articles and blogs too in this video. A blog article giving all this entire list is available in the description. So don't worry about writing these down, you will be able to find those. Right? And as far as recommended reading is concerned, we post one article every day as a recommendation, which is part of a curated list where we say, look, this article is wonderful to read, why don't you try this for this reason, with a blurb on our YouTube community feed and on Facebook. So do subscribe there so that you can find one article to hit you every day. It's very useful as an exercise. Right? Global news. I'm a big fan of The Economist, which is a very good publication. Very useful, very insightful articles with reasonable depth. A lot of political and economic articles get written there. Their authors are fantastic. Their English is brilliant. In fact, there is a style guide released by The Economist, which is a compelling read. Fine. So go through the style guide so to get a sense of how you should write. That's very useful. But unfortunately, Economists, large parts of Economists sit behind a paywall. You get access to about 3 articles every week, I think, with just a sign in. That's enough to start with. So you're not looking to write a piece on the economic situation in Africa. You're looking to get exposure to some articles. So get on board there and do that. Right? So the one British publication that is not behind a paywall but that has lots of quality stuff is The Guardian. And The Guardian sports pages are brilliant. So if you're a follower of cricket or football, you should be there for sure. Because the football writers they have are very good. I'm going to list down a few names of the writers who write there as well later on. Not all of them are good, but these few are brilliant. And so, but Guardian as such will give you a good idea of British humor. And so, if you're struggling to wind your head up with subtle writing, with wit in the written form, we're not used to digesting wit in the written form. If you're struggling to wind your head around that, Guardian is a very good place. Even the comment sections are very fun. Right? The other websites, The Atlantic is good, New York Times is good, NewYorker is good. Atlantic gives you a range of articles which are very good. They're long form articles, so you build the stamina to write that. The New York Times is also good because it gives you the set of columnists. They are very good. So that's something to keep in mind. The New Yorker writes high quality stuff as well. Right? When you're reading these publications, you should have a sense of their biases. Economist and Guardian are kind of British newspapers. Economist is partly American. Guardian is almost completely British. So the Anglo-Saxon bias will be visible here. New York Times is an American publication. And so keep that in mind. So some of their political commentary articles are heavy duty American, so sidestep them. Read their international news. Their international news seen through an American lens. So keep that in mind. So you could find some reasonably heavy duty anti-India stuff there. Don't worry about it. It's very important to know what the American publisher thinks about India. I'm not saying we have to accept that view, but it's important to know that. That's how they think. So it's good to know that. Right? Among Indian publications, there's a publication called the Ken, which is a business publication, which again is subscription based now, but they give one free article per week. So that should be good. So get onto that mailing list, read that free article. You can lay your hands on some form of getting their paid articles also. That will be brilliant. It's the Ken, THEKEN. Once again, the list is going to be available. Check that out. Moving on to newspapers and magazines, the Hindu is very good. But this Hindu, sometimes the editorial is well written, but the center page articles become the process too complicated. And remember, the exam is not going to give overly complicated prose. Your heavy duty jargonized. So there'll be a Hindu article that talks about neoliberalism and paleoliberalism. God knows what these terms mean. Fine. So if you're not conditioned to that jargon, you'll never understand the prose that is sitting there. Don't worry about it. Read that every now and then to be jolted out, to be taken out of your comfort zone. But don't assume that your exam passages will be this complicated. They will not be. The editorial is a reasonable metric. The Open is a good magazine. India Today, Outlook, and The Week are best used as tissue paper, and they're useless. And so don't worry about them. The Hindu is well written. The Frontline is well written. But the Hindu and the Frontline are left-wing newspapers magazines. The Open is a right-wing newspaper magazine. You need to know the biases so that these days all of us get conditioned to get into a bubble. That's all. But I'm not saying you should have your you should subscribe to any one school of thought, but it's important to know what the biases are. So what the biases are: Hindu and Frontline are left wing, the Open is a right wing magazine. Among writers, if you follow Spanish football, this is a writer called Sid Lowe, who writes for the Guardian. He's a fabulous writer. He's written a wonderful book as well. So pick up that book and read that. There used to be a guy called Phil Ball, who used to write wonderfully on football, again on Spanish football. Barney Rooney is a very good writer. Marina Hyde is a very good writer. All of them are part of the Guardian team. And the Guardian has a very good team to write on cricket as well. There's a guy called Andy Bull, who is very good. Rob Smith, who is very good. Rob Smith is a wonderful writer. So you should probably read that and have fun. The other cricket-based website which is fabulous is the Cricinfo, which is ESPN Cricinfo now. I hate the fact that now it has become heavily video heavy. Right? So the original guys who used to work there, Sambit Bal, Sharda Ugra, Osman Samiuddin, they're brilliant writers, brilliant writers. They used to write. There's an article by Osman Samiuddin called Cricket and Hal, about the Pakistan cricket team and Sufi music, which is brilliant. You get transported to that article. And so ESPN Cricinfo's article base, which links back to the Wisden archive, is brilliant. The Guardian football writers, Barney Rooney, Sid Lowe, Rob Smith, are brilliant. So go back to them whenever you get the time. Right? On blogs, there's a blog called Swanomics, which is very useful, very useful. The writer has a ability to take a lot of heavy duty economics and political stuff and then somehow lay personize them very well. So he will talk about foreign money flowing into India, but in terms that you and I can understand. He will not confuse us with FDI limits and FII rules, but talk about it in very simple terms. So for demystifying economics and politics, Swanomics is a fabulous place to go to. Ramchandra Guha runs a blog. He's not very regular with it. Probably he's a very busy man, but whatever is written there is good. So if Ramchandra Guha has written anything, you can read that. And so likewise, there's a gentleman called MJ Akbar, who's got a wonderful writing style, writes good funny articles, writes for a variety of publications, got a witty guy. So you should probably read what he's written as well. So it's a list of blogs and websites and articles and places to go to. Do check them out. Beyond that, definitely get onto the daily feed part, which one of us keeps sending. I think Bharath runs that reasonably well. All 5 days out of 7, you will get an article in your inbox. So check that out, subscribe to that. And best wishes for your exam.